we saw that how we will prioritize that which particular module or which particular section needs to be tested first on the priority level. Right. So I hope you are able to do the assignment as well. Moving forward, we do have now incident management. What is incident? Incident is nothing but it is an event. Okay. Now during testing, variation between actual and expected result, those variation are called incident, bugs, defect, issues, whatever you call it. A situation where the system exhibit questionable behavior. Questionable behavior means what? Means suppose a system needs to be behave in a particular way whenever I am running a particular software or web application. Now, once I click on a particular button, it should give me some certain kind of result. Say for an example, it should redirect me to the product page, but it is not. Instead of that, what it is saying that some error occurred, or it is saying it is maybe redirecting me to some other pages. So that is what, that is a weird kind of an incident that a system start to behave. Now, referring an incident as a defect when the root cause in some problem in the testing item. Incident management process, what are the process? First we'll report it. Okay, so description of the misbehavior that has been reported. So we will write that how the software should behave after doing certain action and how it is behaving. What is the misbehavior of the software? Classifying means classifying of the misbehavior, which class the misbehavior belongs to, like is it some kind of a functionality under functional, or it is a functionality that is affecting, is it something kind of a hardware issue, is it something kind of the build version issue, whatever it is, we'll classify it. Assigning according to the priorities as we discussed in the template, whether it will be on high priority, low or medium. Managing the defect from discovery to final resolution. It means that whatever the discovery or the defect that we found while analyzing those things, while testing those things, from discovery means from finding those defect and to till fixing, we will be calling it a incident. Incident may be raised during a development, review, testing, use of software product. They may be for issue in the program, working system, documentation reviews including requirement, development document, states document, user information. Means anything we can do mistake in any of the stages. Objective over provide feedback about the problems to enable identification and correction as necessary to the development team. Provide means of tracking and the quality of the system under testing. Provide ideas for test process improvement. Now, what is incident report cycle? So for say for an example, a software misbehave. It is behaving some questionable. It is doing some questionable behavior. Okay. Now we need to report it to the development team, right? So how we will do it? So first it is reviewed. First it is opened. Then again it will be rejected or selected. It depends that whether whatever we say, whatever we have documented is correct or not. If it is something which is not related to development or which is already done, then it will be rejected. Is it a bad report? Then again it will be reported. Again it will be opened, and then after opening it will be deferred. Deferred means was declined for repair. It means that whenever we do some kind of, we send it to the developer, send it to the team, IT team. Okay, basically, then if it is deferred, say for an example, earlier there was an issue but now there is no issues, or the bug that was earlier there, after fixing we can find the same bug, so it will be deferred. Then again it will be reopened, assigned to the developer. Developer will fix it. If not fixed, failed, then reopened. If not, then closed. Okay, so this is how this particular report cycle work for incident, how we are going to report those incident. Now content of incident report cycle are date of issue, issuing organization and author. Author means we discussed already about the role and responsibilities. Expected result and actual result. Identification of the test item. Life cycle phases in which the incident was observed. In which life cycle? Here, is it in the requirement, is it in the designing, which life cycle? Severity of the impact on the system. What is the severity of that particular incident? Priority to fix, high, low, medium. Status of the incident: open, deferred, duplicate, waiting to be fixed, fix awaiting, retest and close. Open when it is gone to development, means when the investigation started. Deferred means what? It is either found the bad report or a good report, then it will go duplicate. If the developer found that whatever bug has been identified is already there and fixed, then it will be considered as duplicate and it will be rejected. Waiting to be fixed, means it is already accepted by the developer and the development team is working on it. Fix, so waiting, it means that fix has been done, we are waiting for the item to be fixed. Retest, again it will be retested when it comes from the developer, and finally it will be closed. Now in the module 6, with this our module 6 is completed. In module 7 we will be learning what are the tools available for testing. So guys, there are n number of tools, I would say, and each day there is a tool that is being developed. So types of testing tool, first it had test management tool wherein we manage, okay, static testing wherein we write those plans, we execute, we record. Test specification tools, it means what are the specification of that particular test will be tested by a tool, that particular tool. Test execution logging tool, performance and monitoring tool. Okay, the types of testing tool: performance monitoring, test execution login, test management, test specification, static testing. So tool for management of testing test cases. Keeping track of the same kind of test. In the management tools, we see keeping track of the same kind of test if it has been retested with the same method or same logic. Knowing test plans, record runs, passed, failed test. Scheduling of tests to be executed. Managing the test activities. So to spend on test design, execution. Test activities means whatever has been tested on the software. So what is the entire rule, like cycle of this testing. Interface to other tools such as test execution, incident management, requirement and configuration management, traceability of test, test result, defect to requirement or other sources, preparing progress report based on matrices such as test run, test passed, incident raised, defect fixed and outstanding. So guys, don't be confused with all of this, decorative word. It's just that for each and everything we do, from writing test cases to executing test cases to recording test cases to managing, putting this in the database, so we do have a different kind of tools for each of the activity that we perform in the testing. Requirement management tool are what? Storing the requirement, what is the client requirement, storing the information of the requirement attributes, say for an example how it will be as per the requirement. Checking the consistency of the requirement, is it changing or it is constant, to prioritize requirement for testing purpose, to trace through all the levels of requirement, and interfacing to test management tool. Interfacing means what? That we will be testing the test management tool wherein it will be mention that as per the requirement, whatever the flow of the particular testing will be, is it according to that or not. Incident management tool, also called a defect tracking or defect management tool. Incident report are managed from its initial identification, when it is identified, from that till the case is getting closer. Now storing the information attributes of incident: severity, high, low, medium. Attachment, so for an example, a screenshot of the error, a screenshot of the test page. To prioritize incident and that which needs to be fixed first, assigning action to people whom every individual will have their different responsibility in the testing, right? If it is a big project, then it will be assigned to an individual who will check which module, who will do the performance testing, who will do the other kind of stuff, API testing and all that. Status clarification: open, rejected, deferred, confirm or closed. And then the report the statistic, means what is the report when the incident was found, what was the percentage, when it is closed or it is fixed, then what is the percentage or status. Now configuration management tools are what? Basically storing the information about the build and version, as we discussed. Software and testware. Testware, what? Testware are nothing when we are testing a particular data. So like a swimsuit, why we wear swimsuit? Because we could swim easily under the water. So in the similar way, testware is a kind of a test suits, okay, that it is what? It is basically consists of the test cases and different parameters that we follow on testing. Traceability between different software version. For just we took the example, if you remember earlier, regarding the COM 14.2.1 and the new version 15.0.2. So for an example, to keep track of related between version and configuration. So when we are updating those version of the software, are we updating the hardware or the environment of that particular software or not, such as operating system, hardware, processor. To build and release management, access control. Statics testing tools are what? Review process and support tools. Why? But for keeping tracks of all information for a review process using spreadsheet and text documents. For Static testing, because we are only writing and planning our test cases over there. Maintaining the review process document to store and sort review comments, to communicate comments to the relevant people, a repository for rules, procedures and checklists to be used in reviews, that what is fixed, what needs to be fixed, whether we followed the parameter or not. Monitoring the review status, passed the correction, requires re-review. What are static analysis tool? So basically why we need analysis tool? Support developer and tester in finding defects before dynamic testing. It means if we are able to find the defect in the alpha phases, then it will be easier to execute with the exact cases wherein we found the defect, instead of testing the entire software. Used to calculate metrics from the codes, which is beneficial for planning for risk analysis. Finding the metrics such as cyclometric complexity, nesting levels. Nesting is nothing, the beginning level, okay, when we don't know about the software. So it is the initial phases. We are testing two modules together. To enhance coding standard, to analyze structure and dependencies, help in code understanding, identify defects in the code. If there is any mistake in the programming, in the coding, then it will be able to find out those defects before going and executing with the dynamic testing. Text execution and logging tool, also called the capture, or what we call the scriber, the recorder. You will use this particular tool, recording test inputs while tests are executed manually, storing an expected result on the object to compare the result of next same test case. Initiate post execution comparison, means before the test has been executed what was the status, post execution. Logging result of test run, measuring timing of test, how much time it took, when it was tested and when it was retested. Synchronizing input in the application under test. Okay, synchronizing input, it means what? Basically we will conclude and include all kind of information that is required to execute those test cases. Security tools are what? It is used to test the security of the software or trying to hack it. So we do have a ethical tester, penetration testing, right, to test a particular software. The attacks may be focused on network, support software, application code or database of the system. Features are what? To identify virus, malware, to identify denial of service attacks, to simulate various types of external attacks, to identify strength of the password of the system, that it may not get broken easily, doing security checks during operations. Now, performance and load stress testing tool. Why we need performance testing tool? Because as we discussed that if a software has a capacity of 100 user and if we want to test it at its best, what we'll do in performance testing? We'll simply increase the load. First we'll try with 100 user, then we'll increase it to 50 user, 150 user, then 200, then 250. Slowly we'll be increasing and checking the capacity. This is known as load or stress. We'll be giving the stress to the software and see how it is performing or whether it is able to perform in the test or not. Testing system uses to have high volume, testing the system handling expected number of transactions, testing system beyond the limits, generating load on the system to be testing, measuring the timing variation of transaction as the load on the system varies. Right? So when the 100 user uses the software, how the software is functioning, what is the load speed. When we give 150 user or 250 user, how the software is behaving. Measuring average response time of the software is taking to do a particular activity or action. Producing graphs or charts of the response over time, okay, whatever software is generating. Monitoring tool are what? Keeping the track of the status of the system in use, providing earliest warning of failures or defect to improve them. You may have seen that while coding we get error, right, that this value cannot be initialized. Similarly, in the software, when the software is being developed, it is also used to track that which kind of failure it is going to happen due to a certain problem, due to a certain coding, due to a certain designing, due to a certain requirement. So we'll be knowing it in early basis, so we can fix it in the early basis as well. Server, networks, database, security, performance, website. Now, identify problems of the system and sending an alert to the administrator that this could be an issue. Now, to log real-time historical information, finding optimal solution, monitoring number of users on a network and monitoring the network traffic like we do it in the Google Analytics. 7. sorry, module 7. With this module 7 is completed, guys, there is nothing much to talk about the tools. Even if you need those kind of tools, we don't need in manual testing all kind of tools or any kind of tool. But yeah, in the automation testing, we need different kind of tools. You can easily find and download it from the internet. So our module 8 is going to be